one of the most important things I learned for my awakening from pastor to the paranormal was learning to hear the voice of source, the voice of God, the voice of my higher self, the voice of just the spiritual voices that are out there beyond the veil. And actually, they are actually in you as well. But that's another story. But let me share this with you. Some of you may hear the story about me and hearing the voice of God in the sense of moving on in life. And I was in the middle of struggle. I was in the middle of financial debt. And that's really when you find out you want to search for the answers, is when you're in trouble. And use the trouble for good, okay? But what I did was I used to journal all the time. Journal. And when I journaled this one morning, the Spirit said this. He said, Dale, what do you want today? And I said, well, I need this, and I want this, and I need this, and I want this. And he goes, you already got it. I said, what? What do you mean I already have it? That's crazy. So that happened, all right, every morning for about 3 weeks. And it drove me nuts. I mean, it got to a point where all I did was, the first thing that the Spirit would ask me is like, okay, Dale, what do you need today? So I'd write them down in my little journal, I'd write them out, and she goes, you already got it. What do you mean I already got it? I don't understand it. I took my book and I threw it across our room. I was mad at God. But the Spirit was telling me that you already have everything you want and need. And I was like, what are you talking about? So that really brought me, as well as the movie called The Secret, had brought me to an understanding that I really didn't understand. It brought me to a point where I started seeking, and you need to do that for yourself. But I seeked, and I seeked, and I seeked. And one day, while I was going to teach, I was teaching my men in the ministry at that time, and I said, well, what do you want me to teach today? And the Spirit said, teach on spirit, soul, and body. Now that was a big teaching in the church I was in Clearwater, Florida, at Countryside Christian Center at one time, and Pastor Lloyd taught on spirit, soul, and body. And then, so I thought I'd teach on it, that we are a spirit on the inside of this body, and our soul is who we are. So anyway, I decided to find a diagram. I wanted to find a diagram on what that meant. So if you Google that, you find like 3 circles, and or one big circle with smaller circles in between, and blah, blah, blah. Well, this one I saw was a tube. It was a tube, and it had a spigot on top. And it said life and death, happy and sad. And I said, what the heck is this? So I clicked on a link, and the link took me to a man, his name was Andrew Wamik. And Andrew Wamik was a recovered Baptist. And he came out of the Baptist situation, became non-denominational, and he actually has his own Bible college in Colorado Springs, and he actually moved up the mountain now, but it's there in Colorado. And they teach thousands, he's online, he has his own TV show, everything. But I started watching his little TV shows, his 30-minute TV shows. And it talked about spirit, soul, and body. Well, he had a book. So on that link was a book. So I clicked on the book, and it gave you the first 2 chapters. No, it only gave you 1 chapter, but it was the 2nd chapter. And in that, I read it. And like, I saw the little tube and the spigot, and I said, wow, this is pretty cool. So I started reading it. I read that. I thought, I'll go try to find some more books on him. So I clicked on his website, went to his website, and he had a whole series and a whole book on something that's going to blow your mind. He had a series on You've Already Got It. And I crapped my pants. I love how the Spirit leads you. You see what I mean? So those are the words I heard when I was journaling, that Dale, you've already got it. What? So I got the series, read the series, read another series, read a couple more series. I went to the school. I graduated there. I was the first pastor to graduate Andrew Wamik's Charis Bible College, called Charis Bible College, pastoral continue education program. I was the first pastor to do that. I did it in 9 months, a year-long program. I was that excited. I'd sit every night and blah, 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 go through it all. And I graduated. Flew out to Colorado, graduated there in front of all the people, and it was cool. So where did that take me? It took me into the metaphysical world, in the sense of, or you might call it, Joe Dispenza calls it, and they all have different names. And Abraham Hicks has it. That was another one I struggled with, Abraham Hicks. You ever listen to her? Yeah. She channels Abraham. It's a woman who channels another person. And from the paranormal world, they passed over. I never knew the whole story about Abraham, but you might know more. Put it in the comments. Maybe you know more about Abraham Hicks than I do. But I kind of turned that stuff off at first. It didn't click with me. I still had religious stuff caught up in me. Anyway, I continued, and then every morning I'd ask the Spirit what to do, and that Abraham Hicks would come across my feed on my YouTube, and so I would watch her. And believe me, these people that channel, they channel from a place. It's amazing. But the thing what counts is the knowledge that comes out of them. So that's another one that's crazy. I got to talk about is channeling. People channel other people, and that are passed on. So I've been dealing with this whole thing still today. Well, a lot better at it. That I already have it. That I already got it. And that was very difficult for me. It still is. Like, what do you mean I don't have it in my hands? Blah, blah. You get that argument going on in your brain. But it says in the Bible that you have arguments. Jesus said it. It says you will have arguments. It's in 2 Corinthians. Actually, it's Paul. Paul said it. 2 Corinthians 10, 4-6. And then in that, we'll have arguments. They go back and forth in our brain. And that's the argument of the heart. And in the Bible, you guys call it, the Christians call it the flesh. In the metaphysical world, they call it the ego. But I'm just trying to kind of blend a little bit of pastoral stuff that I learned and Bible stuff that I learned all into the metaphysical world. That's where it came from. Yeah, there's more about that I want to tell you about, but I have the knowledge of the Bible, so now I match it with the metaphysical world, and it coincides. There's some people like Joe Dispenza and a few others, they match the scientific world with the metaphysical, or the scientific world with the Bible. It all works together, just different attitudes, and it's just cool. That's all I gotta say. It's cool how it's all meshing together. You know, we all think we're right, don't we? I remember as evangelical Christian, I thought it was the Bible, blah, 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 and had all that going on. And really, it's all of it. It's all of it. So in this one, the first step you really need to know is how to hear the Spirit. You need to get quiet. Meditation is a powerful thing. It talks about it in the metaphysical world, and it talks about it in Joshua 1:8, and it talks about it in the Bible. It talks about it. It's all over. But meditation is just shutting off your mouth. Quit asking for stuff all the time. I mean, a lot of stuff. Oh, I need this. Believe me, I learned not to do that. That's another whole teaching of what prayer really is. Might be a next one. And then just learning to hear the voice. You can hear the voice. One of the tools that I use and I help people with is close your eyes and say yes, 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 yes. How does that feel? Go ahead, try it. Okay. Now, open your eyes. Close your eyes again, and now say no, 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 no. Do you feel the difference? It is. It's a difference. You can feel it on the inside of you, speaking to you, negative and positive. You can feel those things inside of you. I can. And so, in that, you help yourself hear the voice. Many times, if you close your eyes in meditation and you ask one question, just ask one question, and you hear an answer directly after it, I can say very few times that I judge it. Maybe it's your flesh, maybe it's your ego saying no. But can I tell you that so many times it was so right that the answer, like that morning I told you, I said, okay, what do you want me to do this morning? And I heard Google. power of a decision. Back in that last video I did, Google the power of a decision, and I did, and that's when the movie came up, The Secret. You see, you can hear the voice of God. You can hear the voice of the Spirit. You can hear the voice of your higher self. You can hear the voice that's inside of you. You just got to be quiet. You got to turn your phone off. You got to put it aside. You got to put on just kind of, we call it bing bong music. You can hear it in the background here. It's just background music, but it's very angelic, you know? And so I say all this stuff just to get quiet. How you can hear the voice. How you can just chill out. And that was one of my steps, because once I learned how to hear God's voice, then other voices started coming in from the behind the veil, from the other side. And that's when I started hearing voices of my mother and my dad and other people. I watched a lot of NDEs, near-death experiences. Watch a lot of them. I watch people how they're channeling, not channeling, but like Teresa Caputo and a few others that are mediums. I listen to that. But because I'm telling you right now, if they can hear the voices on the veil, behind the veil, so can you. You can too. I'm sorry. No, you can too. I'm a simple man with a simple God who helps a simple person be the awesome man that I am. I'm just kidding. But I love you. So today, learn to hear the voice. That's the first step. Learn to hear the voice of God, the Spirit, Papa. I call him Papa too. And just work on it. You'll do great. It's wonderful. It changed my life. And that voice I started hearing back in 2000. So, I love you. Have a great day. Get quiet and hear his voice. I love you.